It worked. It bloody well worked. I saved Bjorn. I gave up everything, but I saved Bjorn. And now together, we can take down these sons of bitches. It feels good to make them suffer as we have. To watch them run. Watch them die. I finally have some power in this world now. I can finally do things on my own accord. Make a difference. That is why I'm doing this all, after all, isn't it? I think. To make a difference on a grand scale. All these little games everyone is playing don't mean anything to me anymore. That's why I let Bjorn do the talking now. Slava, Russia, the KGB, none of it really matters in the grand scheme of all things. The only thing that matters is stopping them from getting what they want. It does not matter what I want anymore. I'm just becoming a tool. And that's fine. Isn't it? Do I even know anymore? I can't tell the dreams apart. It's all just becoming one single nightmare. And I don't think I'm going to wake up. This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
I know exactly what you mean. We've obviously seen exactly the same here, going back to the days of the revolution. I mean, the left. I mean, they have no respect at all for our national soul. And but I must say, I'm quite impressed by your tenacity. I've been following what you're doing. You're it's step by step, but you're changing the metapolitics in a country that's been previously so dominated by our common enemy. I predict it won't be long until you are the ones that are defining policy, forcing the other parties to adapt or be destroyed by a fearful populace, and and then, well, then that's when we win, right?
Exactly. That is the time when we take over. There has been, as you know, several smaller parties trying to push agendas, sort of, in the dark almost. But it wasn't until recently when we were able to put together, the BSS and the Progress Party, and that we actually started to make, an effort and start to reach, the common people, and that we know care about this and these issues.
How would you say the conditions are in Sweden and I suppose in Western Europe as a whole? Do you think are they favorable for our cause? Are the winds blowing in the right direction?
I think definitely that this is the time when opportunity has opened itself, and seeing also what's happening in Germany, how things are actually taking a turn for the better. It's opening up chances, and that's really given us an opportunity to take a different stance on things. I think you're having sort of the same things here. It feels a bit like the new Russia has, I don't know, it seems a bit struggling right now, and in struggle is the time to, it's the time for opportunists, I think.
Oh yes, you have to strike while the iron is hot, and well, we've acquired quite a bit of influence with the military recently. I don't know how much you are read up on it, but General Strelkov has taken up our cause, and I think soon we'll have enough sympathizers in all the regiments across Russia that will allow us to get things sorted out. And well,
I find it incredibly impressive how you have managed to involve the military in this way, and this is what I think would be the best way to go for Sweden as well.
So for most of this conversation, I've just been nodding, smiling, because to be honest with you, half of what they're talking about is flying straight over my head. I'm thankful for Bjorn's experience in these sort of matters from before. I also have been itching the back of my neck, itching that mark. However, at this last moment, when the general is mentioned, I perk up a little and I just say, "But, yes, who is this general you speak of? Is he sympathizes with your cause, you say? I'm very interested that you've actually even managed to get military interest. I mean, our issues..." I pause for a moment. "Only so much can be done sometimes with words. Yes, do you understand?"
Oh yes. That actually brings up a question I was meaning to ask you. Would you perhaps be interested in let's just put it right out there. Black market weapons. Is that something that you might find your organization in need of?
I think that is why we're here. To be blunt, we need to start gathering some sort of power, and obviously we want to make it as discreetly as possible, and which is why we would appreciate the discreet cooperation of your enterprise. Weaponry is a good start, we think, for claiming a presence.
I could not agree more. We'd be very interested actually to talk more about this with you, and we could also talk more about the good general and what we hope the future will bring. Would you actually be interested in joining us for a dinner tonight? We have many of our leaders are here, and our get-togethers are actually a bit legendary.
Wow, that's incredible. You have the timetable for our flight back, Berg. Do you think we will be able to manage it?
I look over, I look into my pocket to collect a little bit of papers that we prepared earlier, and I try and make a show, although perhaps a little clumsily, to someone like Bjorn anyway, of checking things, and I go, "Oh, I don't know, perhaps actually if we change some plans, why not? What do you think?"
Good. I mean, if you have it there, then that's all good. We would be happy to join you. Are you saying your leader? I mean, is this a high-ranking meeting? We of course have a humble approach to the great organization that you managed to meet here, and we don't want to overstep our boundaries before things actually start get moving. But if we have a chance to start making new acquaintances, it's a fantastic opportunity. Yes.
Yeah, you will have plenty of opportunities for that tonight. I do assure you of that. Maybe before we finish this, I think we should save some of the conversations for later on tonight. Before we go, maybe I can show you the exhibition that we have going. It's quite impressive, actually. And I can also introduce you to some of the people that you will meet tonight, so you have, already made a few friends.
An exhibition, you say?
Yes.
Sure. Why not? We've already checked into our hotel anyway, so we got time over.
And he starts leading you out of the lunchroom and takes you to the large lounge, the exhibition hall. That's marked 3 on the map.
As we go, I ask him, so you're a doctor. What are your specialities? What is your position in the organization?
Well, we are researching war psychosis here, so we're trying to understand better the traumas that come from war and how it changes a man's psyche, and how that can be both a curse and a blessing at the same time, and how we can, ensure that that our army stays strong and in spite of the consequences of war.
Wow, that's sounds like a branching of the normally political and military side of it. Psychological sides as well. Okay, that's interesting.
The power of the human mind, I think that is what will what will win us this at the end of the day. The purity of our beliefs, of our minds, that is what will make it happen. Yes, and he leads you to this exhibition hall. The floor is made of marble and the ceiling is patterned with checkers. There's tall glass windows that look out onto the veranda and garden. The exhibition hall is showing an exhibition called The Forgotten Crimes. It's detailing crimes committed during the October Revolution and the years that followed, focusing on those committed against the Russian nobility. There's also another exhibition that's a patriotic tribute to the Red Army in general and the Soviet Air Force in particular. There's maps of Russia and patriotic pictures that line the walls. It's sort of interesting, both honoring the Red Army, but at the same time talking about the crimes committed against Russian nobility. So there seems to be an attempt to sort of merge these causes in some way and sort of cutting out communism, if you will. There's a young man dressed in an aging Russian uniform that sits behind a table here. He's handing out brochures to visitors, and there's actually even a signature list here supporting Colonel Leskov's candidacy for president. There's also a collection box for war veterans. And Gregorich, he leads you up to two men who are standing here. Let me introduce Lieutenant Bitov and Lieutenant Menshkov. Bitov is a short, thick-set man in his 50s, and Menshkov a fit man in his 30s. He has the look of a drill sergeant, if you know what I mean. Lieutenant Bitov here is currently researching our general's genealogy. We're quite convinced we will find a direct relation between him and the Tsar, yes? Oh, yes, says Bitov.
I shake their hands. That's very impressive. It's very impressive. It's very important that we keep our family trees straight.
Yes, indeed. Strong believers in the purity of genes here in general, and strong bloodlines. Yes, that's how you build a country, yeah. And Menshkov here, he handles the military training for our membership. Best to always stay ready. Never know when things will happen, yes?
Yes, I like to keep on the ground myself, though I am hoping to sort of take a more of an administrative role later. I'll say this as I show some of the scars and the recent one on my neck.
Looks like you've really been through some things in the fight, huh? You I'm sure the ones on the other side look even worse, huh?
Oh yes, they had to be carried out. Things have been successful. I mean, the operations that we have carried out and the way we can start to spread. It feels a bit crude compared to what you are doing, but a lot of it is still going through smaller organizations and biker gangs. Yes, I'm sure you're familiar with...
Who is this Leskov? I remark, trying to sound casual. Leskov, interesting. We only arrived, not familiar with the current political climate in regard to, is this a candidate who shares interests in your own?
Oh yes, he actually used to be our leader before General Strelkov took over. Yes, he is very committed to the cause and a very, very impressive military man. I think he would make for a fantastic president of our new nation. So we are all behind him, 100%.
And now Strelkov is taking sort of over his role, whereas Leskov is trying to be more political. Is that how it is meant to become?
Exactly. I think we're entering a new phase in our organization's history, and I think this new way of dividing up the responsibility will serve us quite well. But let us talk more about these things tonight. Do you guys like vodka?
Yes, of course. And I can't say I had the pleasure of having the genuine, the original style of Russian vodka. We have a good tradition of it in Sweden, though, if you're familiar with brands like Absolut.
Yes, I've heard of them. You will taste something extra tonight. I can promise you a party that would leave even Dionysus and Bacchus quite pleased.
fantastic. And we have a strong drinking tradition in Sweden too. It's very nice to share. It's the best time to share.
I fully
ideas
agree.
and memories.
I fully agree.
My attention has drifted a little to the actual exhibition. Like, part of me has no interest in what I'm assuming is just a lot of artwork and stuff to do with Russian heritage. But I'm looking anyway. Is there anything about this exhibition speaks more? Maybe something actually powerful here in that way?
Nothing of a nature that would stand out to your enhanced awareness or your intuition, but yeah, it really is. It's a very rational exhibition. It's really describing their political aims in quite a clear way of the merging of yes, the Tsarist tradition, the Russian nobility, bringing them back, and at the same time honoring the fighting man, honoring the soldiers rather than the current political leadership, and really, finding a way to put these forces together, moving in the same direction. That's really the story that they're trying to tell through this exhibition, and you gather through, the brochures and everything that you see around here. That's really their message. It seems like it's resonating based on what Gregor's is saying, and what you heard from Selivanova as well. It seems as if a lot of the military is actually looking to groups such as this one, and looking to the stability and the strength they project in this troubled time.
Do I still feel that feeling of suffering from somewhere?
Oh yes, it's upstairs.
We have talked over before we went here how we would divide things and come to an agreement that I am going to be, of course, the front and making all the talk, trying to make connections and socialize, whereas Carver will be this observing the place and seeing any clues that might stand out. So that's basically what I'm doing now. I'm just socializing, trying to become brothers with these fine people that we have arranged to meet.
And they start to basically politely show you to the door, having concluded the meeting, and looking to continue it later on tonight. Do you let yourselves be led outside, or are you going to try and remain behind? I will say that there's quite a lot of people moving around in the building right now, and it is fully staffed essentially. So there's something about this dinner that strikes especially you, Björn, as being perhaps quite a good opportunity, given that especially this talk about the alcohol flowing very freely, that should offer quite a few opportunities.
So when would you like us back here tonight?
If you could be here at 8 o'clock, that would be great. Then that's when we will start.
Perfect. We will get some rest until then, and maybe have a little bit of a sightseeing and anything you think we should have a look at before we leave this lovely city.
I mean, the Kremlin, it's a beautiful building, truly. Do visit Red Square as well. It's yes, it's quite something. A lot of heritage there. You can really feel the national soul when you visit those places.
Thank you. Okay, Berg, anything else? Otherwise, we'll be here tonight, of course.
Oh, I think I've seen enough for now. I do find great fascination in your exhibition here. Very interesting.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice to have a bit of more chat under more relaxed circumstances, and also meet the rest of your people.
Yes, indeed. Looking forward to it. And they show you out, and it's now around 3 or so in the afternoon, so you have a few hours to kill. What do you do?
I guess I don't care much for sightseeing. I've seen enough of Moscow before, so I'll probably just wanna get back to the hotel for a bit.
Yep, I'll go back to the hotel, and all I do in my spare time is read. I lately am really reading from the little book collection I still have. Obviously, it was in the car still, some of it, and I just read now. More of ritual, more of that which I shouldn't know.
Yes, and everything that you read makes so much more sense now. It's really starting to come together. You have been given rooms at the Hotel Rosia in the center of town. A very nice hotel. And you do what you said that you would do, and it becomes evening, and it becomes time for the dinner. There's a car that Zoya has arranged to pick you up, and it's waiting outside the hotel.
I'll get into the car. I spent the hours basically doing a bit of a workout, which hurts like hell, and then resting after that. And now we're back into my nice looking black smart clothes, heading back to the car.
So you get into the car, and it takes you back to Slava. There's a lot of nice cars parked outside the building when you arrive. A lot of expensive ones that you're not really supposed to see in the Soviet Union, but, well, the times are changing.
Russian brands?
Foreign brands. German cars, especially.
While I'm on the way in the car, my mind wanders a little and I just think for a moment of Jenkins. I haven't sensed him for a long time now, have I?
No. Where is he? He was always around before. He would just be there. He would be that comfort for you just exactly when you needed him, regardless of where you were. But now you just haven't seen him. He's been gone for such a long time. You just need to find him. He must be out there somewhere. It's not possible that you killed him. Oh, no. That cannot be. That vision, it must have been false. No. You will find him. You're sure of that.
Yes.
And I'm thinking mostly about Vova, really. It's so weird that he showed up and it's kept showing up, but now he couldn't know where we ended up now. Because I don't know how we got here, really.
Yeah, that's true. And he's marked as well. You wonder what that means and if that will have any impact on the events that are to come. And you're shown into the ballroom on the second floor of Slava, a room that you haven't been in before. There's ornate mirrors that cover the walls from floor to ceiling. A huge crystal chandelier that hangs from the middle of the ceiling, and floor's wood parquet. An open fireplace stands on each side of the entrance, and there's long tables with chairs that fill the room, reminding you a little bit of the gold plaque dinner back in Hamburg. Waiters are serving vodka, sandwiches, and various smoked and baked inside dishes. Carver, you see these mirrors. What does it make you feel?
Initially, I feel the original sense of hesitation I always used to feel. And then I just feel calm. What does that matter anymore? I've seen so much. If anything, I just casually go over and stare right into one. A flashback now wouldn't be so bad. Maybe I'd find out more.
Yes, you stare into the mirror, expecting for the flashback to hit you, but it doesn't. You just see your face there in the mirror. You notice a piece of the tattoos sticking out of the shirt. Probably cover it up as you see that. You feel in control of yourself in a way that you have never before. You're growing stronger, Carver. Perhaps too strong.
If anything, for a moment, I have a moment of uncertainty, for I realize I barely recognize this person I'm looking at, with his hoodie, his beard, these markings, and the eyes. I look haunted now. I look troubled and yet confident. It doesn't make sense, and yet suddenly it goes very quickly. It's almost like a reassuring voice somewhere goes, it's fine. And I nod, of course it's fine. And I smile, I look to Bjorn and go, what a lovely evening, eh?
You're looking into the mirror, and you see this man that's standing before you. He is not who who you were before, but his senses are still sharp. Roll for your sixth sense.
I believe that is 14. 2 edges for my sixth sense.
And Gregorich and Menshkov comes over as you arrive. Welcome. We're honored that you would come. Hopefully, this night will help us strengthen the bonds between our organizations.
It's good to be here. This is quite a place, as I said before. It's very impressive.
I hope that we can shape more of Russia in this image. This is sort of what we would like to see as a return to the glory days. He starts guiding you around, introducing you to numerous young men and women, and also many of their a little bit older leaders. Food is served, and the guests seem to be happily enjoying the feast. They're getting more and more drunk, you notice.
At this point, can I, very casually, I've been even listening to conversation, I've been looking around the room a lot more. Can I observe the situation and see if there's perhaps a moment where I can slip off, if you will?
Yes, you can do that. And then you can roll to observe the situation.
Indeed, I look around the room and I just... If anything, my patience is a lot more limited now. I'm finding all of this talk almost meaningless. We're here for information and we need something direct. I'll let Bjorn chat. I, on the other hand, rolled a 7. And the question I will ask will be, I suppose I am looking for a way out or a hidden thing, so what is being hidden from me? What does seem to be maybe an area people are straying away from or not being allowed to go to?
Yeah, you see that there's a lot of rooms around on this floor, and you bet that the important offices and the important documents, likely quite a few of them, will be located on this particular floor. And you also saw Dr. Gregorich disappear around 9 or so. He sort of started leaving the ballroom to go somewhere. You think, yeah. You don't think he went downstairs. You think he's still somewhere on this floor.
I will attempt to go in the direction that I saw him leaving in. Probably not very subtly, alas.
No, it goes great. Everything is very smooth. You are then doing this sneaking while Björn is talking, or are you both going to be moving together?
I noticed after a little while that Carver is gone, so I'm gonna see if I can catch up with him and, not really sneaking, just, being a foreign delegate, like I said. We're just, we want to see what's going on in the building.
Yes, and there's, of course, with people being drunk, there's plenty of people who end up going places where they're probably not supposed to. So nothing about you really stands out as being particularly odd. You are now on the top floor, so that's the bottom drawing that you have there.
Maybe head towards the balcony that we saw at the stairs. Have a smoke there, and then start walking around a bit from the rooms that are close to it.
You think you see some activity, people moving towards room marked 13 here, towards the right part of the building. There's a man, you can't quite see his how he looks. He comes up the stairs and enters into that room.
Let's not make a show or sneaky stuff about it. Let's just follow him and see what's going on. There are festivities after all, so I'll have a drink of vodka with me. I probably have actually drunk a bit of vodka because I like it myself.
Yes, indeed, and it is the real deal, indeed, just as you remember it. And you're moving towards the room marked 13 then, and it is open. It seems to be a reception of some kind. There's an empty reception counter here and table. There's a lot of medical journals. You see an article about the Foundation for War Psychosis and what they're trying to achieve there and the kind of research that they're doing. And in the room you also see There's a door with Gregor's name on it. It seems to be his office.
I remark quite casually, get this door open. I'll go inside, you stay here and maybe keep watch.
Don't you think there's a risk he might be in there?
I go to the door and knock casually.
There is no sound coming from the other side.
I guess he's not in there right now. I'll be careful.
I look at him a bit dubiously, but I'll let him open it.
When you come in there, the office contains a large desk, a couple of easy chairs, and a small table. The walls are otherwise covered with bookcases. The literature in here seems to be focused on quite nasty topics. It's brainwashing, torture, interrogation. It seems to be manuals and books covering these particular topics. There's also general books, journals, and compendia in Russian, German, English, and French.
Seems like the doctor is out, I remark.
I will go to the desk and immediately begin trying to investigate because I just want to look... I'm trying to be subtle about it because we don't have time to ransack the office, but I'm just immediately looking for anything to do with, anything that comes across interesting. So shall I roll an investigate roll?
Yes, please roll for investigate, and Björn, if you can roll for act under pressure, just to mark how smooth this is going, that would be good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and sort of keep watch, keep guard if someone is approaching.
I got 6.
I got 17 plus 4, so 21.
I just go to the desk and I just literally open some drawers and look around. I'm very concerned that, I don't want to do anything too drastic, so I basically this is probably a minute's worth of investigation, and I'm trying to find out how can I find out more about what we're investigating here.
You go through some of this documentation that's in Gregorich's office. You find that there's binders here filled with descriptions of experiments, of quite nasty experiments that are clearly illegal, deeply unethical, and there seems to have been quite a few of the patients or test subjects that have perished. Not all of them are signed by Gregorich, though. He came quite recently. A few of the experiments that happened before he came are signed by a person named N. Harcum.
Nigel Harcum.
Yes.
Do you voice this, Carver?
Yes, and then I step, and then I look towards the door, and I feel very I can't focus, and I stop looking around the room. I'm like, some guy here, N. Harcum. Does that name mean anything?
Yeah, I remember that name. It stood out. You remember Black Sound Publishing? Back in the SA, they published some publications. I don't know if it was books, but something by Nigel Harcum. I'm not sure about his role, but he strangely disappeared somehow. I think during the 80s.
Yeah, he was part of the leadership of the Slavic Association for a while. They're part of their board, but yes, he just disappeared. Something happened there, but here his name is surfacing again, which is, it is quite interesting. So that is what you find in Gregorich's room.
Yes, I feel I would notice more papers and more things I could look at, but I'm just not focusing, and I just sort of very quickly close the drawers and make it look like I don't feel I have time to look further. And I remark, how's it looking outside?
Everything is calm. You have been able to do this very, very smoothly. There doesn't seem to be much traffic going in this direction, actually. You have, sort of when you've peeked out into the hall, noticed people going the other direction, but it's almost as if people are sort of avoiding the rooms on this side, actually, which is interesting to you. Except that one man who entered when you were out on the balcony.
I'll take a moment to try and feel that suffering again. Where is it now?
You reach out and you try to touch that suffering, and it is close by. It is somewhere beyond the door marked laboratory. That is where it is.
I look towards the door leading to the laboratory and go, "There's something there, Bjorn. The question is, do we go and look into it now? We might be in a very precocious situation if we do. What do you think? Should we look somewhere else for now, or head to the source?"
We're still here as tourists, remember that. We're just having a look around, and we have drunk a little too much. There's nothing weird with having a look around, being a little bit curious. I mean, it's a big organization. We'd be starry-eyed at all this.
Yes. And I'll go and attempt to very slowly open the door.
Yes, and you open the door to the laboratory, which is marked 15. There's bookcases with binders here. There's also a kitchen counter with cupboards and shelves. They seem to be filled with chemical substances and various types of lab equipment. You see autopsy instruments here, and something that is perhaps a bit more disturbing is what must be torture devices. They look very similar to those that Mr. Vogel, Ernst Vogel, and the Germanische Gemeinschaft had. In a corner there is a steel medicine cabinet that has double locks on it.
So, some resemblances here to what we saw in Berlin as well.
There are two doors here. One is marked cooler and the other is marked isolation. And Carver, you are now close. The suffering that you felt, the pain, it is coming from the room next door. It's coming from the room that's marked 18 here. There's something happening there. Something that is causing someone a great deal of pain.
We'll go to the door to 18. I won't open it yet. I just place my hand on it, and again, just try and, if it's right next door, I'll try and, can I actually use enhanced awareness now to see if I can get a better picture of what's going on?
The illusion isn't necessarily weak here. It's more an aura, more the pain and suffering that you feel from beyond it. The only way to see what's going on in there would likely be to look in.
I turn to Bjorn and I remark very quietly, "Clearly this is some sort of laboratory where maybe the doctor carries out his twisted experiments. They're all so twisted, these people. I don't know if we really need to know the details now we have proof of what's going on here. However, there's something happening behind this door. Now, I don't think for once," I laugh just a very little under my breath, "for once maybe this isn't a door to a nightmare dimension or some horrible monster. But there is definitely suffering behind this door. The question is, do we open it?"
I see you were kind of reading my mind there. When I saw you looking at that door, I was thinking there might be one other of those things there. But if you don't think that's the case, then I see no harm in going in. We should be next to the ballroom if we go in there anyway.
I will very slowly open the door.
Yes, the door is open. You look inside. The room is dominated by a wheeled operating table with an advanced setup of lamps of different color and intensity above. Along the walls there are workbenches with surgical instruments and equipment for chemical analysis. There's a prisoner that's trapped to the table with a powerful lamp pointed straight into his face. There's also two men in here, Dr. Gregorich and a man that you recognize from somewhere. Slim man in his mid-40s with a solid nose and light short-cut hair. You know him. You have seen him in a book at the Slavic Association, and his name is at the top of your head anyway. This is Nigel Harcombe.
As soon as I've noticed this, I was very slowly open the door. I've stopped immediately. I motion to Bjorn with my hand, like 2 fingers up. I just look at him like, what does he think?
Well, if we don't have a reaction from the other side...
You make this move and you're sort of trying to close the door, but it doesn't really go so well. Here comes some consequences. Gregorich is injecting something into the prisoner, which incites a series of violent spasms and causing his skin to crack like parched earth. He's looking at this, and then he looks towards the door, and he sees you. He notices you, and he pulls down the surgical mask that he has on, speaking to you in an icy voice. May I please ask you to leave?
I take my hand and push Carver aside a little bit. I say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Curiosity got the better side of us. Wow, is this the experiments you're conducting?"
Go and enjoy the party, will you? We have important work to be done here.
I'm very sorry. Would you mind if we took part? I mean, we are very curious about any side of your research. It seems like you're doing such great things. I really try to butter him up here.
He gives you an extremely cold look. This man that was so warm and kind sort of to you before in your meetings, he seems completely different here. This is likely the persona that the prisoners, that the patients that he's working on, that is likely who they are meeting. His eyes tell you one thing very, very clearly, and that is, get the fuck out.
I hold up a hand and I back and I close the door. And then I say, "Well, Berg, that was unfortunate accident. Let's go back and enjoy the ballroom, shall we?"
You turn around, and before you stands Nigel Harcombe. He has seemingly appeared out of nowhere. Interesting. May I see that mark? He starts pointing towards your necks.
I lean forward a little and attempt to smile and go, "But of course, sorry, I don't believe we had the pleasure of meeting. Who are you, sir? We apologise for stumbling in on your, thing. We assumed since this room was so close to the ballroom, it couldn't have been anything that important."
Are you aware that you carry the mark of a death angel? Oh, and you, he points to you, Carver. Yes, you carry much more than that. Fascinating.
I remark, in my dealings with our association, actually, I research occult activity. It's an interesting subject, but any help from any source can only benefit our causes, yes? I'm surprised you noticed it, though.
Yes. Well, the mark that you have, it means that he owns you. In the liberated Leningrad, you will become his slaves for all eternity, you know?
I don't mind. That's why we're here. I kind of dropped the facade now. So I take it you're a servant of Chigidiel as well?
I serve myself. When the disease kills you, he will come and collect you. But, I know that you're not his servants, though. Because I know the ritual that you conducted. I was the one who taught Kramer. Poor Philip. His sacrifice was for the greater good, though. Well, it was for my good, in any case.
Can I read a person check now at this point? 13. What do I feel this person is about to do? Basically, I'm very now concerned that he's talking so casually with us. My guard's gone up a little, and I'm wondering what's about to happen with this man.
He is not going to let you leave here.
I will remark then, casually, it was for their greater good, yes. As in, they were required for greater things. Did you always know that, Mr. Harcombe?
I have seen many things throughout time. There are many more things that I will see. And you will see some of them too, although I fear your story will be much shorter. He takes a step back, and he's gone. He just disappears, vanishes into nothing.
I was about to go for my gun, actually.
Yeah.
And
Funny that.
oh shit.
Everyone, we need to leave now.
Yes, and you start moving down the stairs and towards the exit of the building. Party is going on as normal. No one seems to have taken any notice of what happened when you were in the office and in the laboratory. And you exit the building, and that is when a strong searchlight blinds you. You hear the clattering of weapons, seemingly all at once, the sound of idling engines on armored trucks. Many. Pure, this may be as many as a company. Someone speaks into a loudspeaker. You can't see them. The light is blinding you. You feel instinctively that you must have many, many weapons pointed directly at you. Hands up! Give up! I'm Lieutenant Timonov of the Red Army. I have orders to arrest you. Please, I implore you. Please do not force us to engage in pointless violence.
I put my hands up. This is an impossible situation.
When you look at the light, when you look at the people gathered there, it's blinding you, but it's starting to become clearer. There's a face among them, smiling at you. Nigel Harcombe stands among them. That's the only way that this makes any sense. How could a company of armed men just show up here? He must be part of this somehow. He must have done something. He spoke of time, did he not? As that thought passes through your head, you are handcuffed and blindfolds are put over your eyes, and you are led into trucks that drive off from the Slava headquarters, taking you somewhere.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the campaign The Black Madonna for the tabletop role-playing game KULT Divinity Lost. The Black Madonna was originally constructed by Gunilla Jonsson and Mikael Petersen in 1991, with additional material for the 2017 edition by Marco Berman, Matthias Fredriksson, Petter Nallo, and Robin Liljenberg. KULT Divinity Lost is published by Helmgast. The music was created by Atrium Calseri and is used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Visit cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel to hear more excellent dark ambient. A new episode of Red Moon Roleplaying is released every Friday. Please like our Facebook page and give us comments, input and feedback there. You can also visit us at redmoonroleplaying.com. Finally, a big thank you to all supporters. If you want to show your appreciation and encourage our work, look out for us on Patreon and see if you want to support the show there. While the show will always be free of charge to our listeners, Patreon supporters will have access to extra material, such as a bonus podcast where we answer your questions about the campaign and role-playing games in general. If you just can't wait, you can even get access to the full-length, raw and unedited versions of our gaming sessions way before they are released as finished episodes. Thanks for listening. Looking forward to meeting again next week.